Vivian and I have been home for a few days now, and I've had a lot of time to calm down a little bit and think about the car. And turns out, I still really love it. A few days ago along our journey, I posted a picture on Instagram and I asked you guys to basically ask me anything that you want to know about the car. It doesn't really have to be about the BRZ, but like 95% of the questions were about the BRZ. I am going to answer all of your questions today. There will be point of view driving. I will be taking some turns spiritedly, and I'll be doing some polls. First question, Ronaldo Navarro 1. He said, if it wasn't about the horsepower, which car handles better, Civic Type R or BRZ? I really don't think I can give you an honest answer on that yet. I haven't really driven the BRZ all that hard as of right now, but I'll try to take some turns pretty hard during this video in a little bit. Number 2, I think you should supercharge the BRZ so that way you guys have a turbo car and supercharger and have best of both worlds. Yes, that is my plan. I will talk about that in a separate video very soon. Next up, how is the engine bay looking? Space for repairs. Number 2, are the body panels made out of which material? Okay, let's take a look at the engine bay. Well, here it is. The engine bay looks very similar to the first generation. I think this right here is the resonator for the intake, so I need to do an intake resonator delete. I need to figure that out. Hopefully I can be the first one to do that. I'll try that this week. As for everything else, I mean, geez, you can clearly see the transmission right down there. You can tell they really focused on weight savings with this car. I really like it. The other thing is, it's really low. Let me show you this. So here's me next to the car. I'm 5'10" for some perspective. And I mean, the logo is at my kneecaps. So, I mean, like leaning down to work on this car. Most of the time, you guys know that when I do my installs, I love to use ramps. So I have the 56-inch race ramps, which this thing will be up on very soon. I have a modification that I just ordered. You can reach around and get a bunch of stuff. It's actually a lot lower than the Type R in the SIs that I've had. How's it going?
Big, pretty.
Yeah.
My God.
I appreciate it.
Look, it's...
Yeah, it's one of the new Subarus.
God.
You like it?
Good.
Thanks, man. Tony Castillo said, why the BRZ and not the GR86? And why the color blue? Congrats on the car, by the way. Tony's a great guy. I got the BRZ because the GR86 is not out yet. It seems like, you know, and I'm very critical when it comes to this type of stuff, like multi-billion-dollar companies. You should be able to get shit done, in my opinion. This whole launch of the GR86 kind of seems like a shit show. Like, where is this car? Why has the BRZ been out for so much longer than the GR86? Also, a lot of the Toyota dealerships in the US are unfortunately going to completely ruin the launch of this car with a bunch of markups, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $10,000 depending on where you are. I understand capitalism, you know, I love America. The markup situation, it's stupid. I mean, come on. So that was the long-winded answer to your question, Tony. You know what? I'm gonna go finish the rest of these questions in the car. Kind of a tight fit. Stuff like that makes me so much more excited that Vivian and I are moving to Florida. We're looking for a house, trying really hard. Look at this beast. Let's go for a drive. Oh! All right. That entrance right there leads me to another question, asking how are the seats on road trips? How comfortable are they? And how do they compare to the Type R? My opinion is that the Type R seats are more comfortable. For sure, hands down, no question. Especially on road trips. For everyone who's new to my channel, I did fly to Indianapolis in February to buy my 2021 Civic Type R, which you guys just saw. So I drove that back. I think I had 2,200 miles on that road trip. So I know what it's like to drive both of these cars long distance. The Type R is a more comfortable car overall. So if you were wondering about that, same thing goes for the 10th Gen Civic Si. I know that some people cross-shop between the BRZ GR86 and the Civic Si, and I can see why, but they are pretty different cars. Oh, I just went through a puddle right after I washed and waxed it. Another question is, got any ideas for license plates? No, not really. Vivian has the idea of making all of our cars have a sequence, like a sequential license plate theme. So it would be WTH1, WTH2, and WTH is short for What the Hill, which is literally the name of my LLC I use for this YouTube channel. What are the first 5 performance mods you have planned for the BRZ? Again, that's going to be its own separate video, and I have a lot of juicy information about upcoming mods from several different companies. Brandon Levon has a good question. Between the Type R and the BRZ, which one is going to become the new daily driver? Holy crap, I should have thought about these questions before filming this video. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna end up driving them 50-50. Right now, I'll probably drive the BRZ a little more because I've only had the Type R for, geez, what is that? 9 months, and it has almost 13,000 miles, so. Next question, it says Civic Si or BRZ? Oh! I gotta be careful, man. I know who the majority of my audience is. After the refresh, having this 22 BRZ, if I had to choose one, and we're talking about like a new Civic Si, so my 2020 that I had, versus this one, I would probably take this one, dude. I'd probably take the new BRZ, but just by a little bit. Oh my god, we can't hear this at all. Let's drop her down to 3rd. So I'm going uphill. It has plenty of torque, plenty of power, guys. Next question. How bad is the adaptive sound control in track mode? Whoa, buddy, easy there. Well, let's see here. Second gear. This is normal mode, okay? So it's not in track mode. I'm gonna put it to the floor. That's quick, dude. Now let's put it in track mode. Oh shit, there's someone behind me. I'll just do it in 3rd. Know if I can tell that much of a difference. I am going to look over in the owner's manual and do my research and figure out if adaptive sound control is on in both modes, because from what I could just tell, it kind of sounds like it's there in normal and track mode. For all my Honda boys, track mode in this car, it's not like the sport mode and the R mode that we know for the 10 Gen Civics. It actually really doesn't do all that much. I'll put it on the screen here. This is really the only thing that track mode does. And then the only other button we have is just a straight up like traction control button. And I pressed it for a second and traction is off. Not that we really need that. With these Michelin Pilot Sport 4s, this thing grips very well. Man, this is a good car. This is a good one. How does it feel compared to a stock 9th gen? It feels a lot quicker. Definitely there's a lot more power. Handles way better. I mean, I don't really think it's fair to compare, but since you asked, I am going to answer every single question. Very different car. And this car actually revs higher than a stock 9th gen. Can you believe that? We have a Subaru that revs higher than a naturally aspirated Honda Civic Si. And the first gen was like that too. Now it's time to take a corner or two. See how we do. I can already tell you right off the bat, the few corners that I have taken with Vivian in the car. I know you guys are not gonna want to hear this, the majority of my subscriber base, but I'm pretty sure this thing outhandles the Type R. I mean, it corners like a beast. Oh my God. All right, we gotta get another one. Okay, another question, how does it feel in power versus the 10th gen and the 9th gen? Well, it's definitely quicker than both of those stock, but with the 10th gen, when you slap a stage 1 tune on it, those things are little animals in their own respects. Whoops. Let's hope I don't kill myself around this turn. Oh, the meter's on. Are you kidding me, dude? Oh my God. This thing feels so planted. The brakes, I'm surprised no one asked about the brakes. The brakes really could use some improvement, so I'd be very interested to get like a Brembo brake package or something like that. Next question, how is the cabin noise for the BRZ? Also, how does the lower back support feel on the seats? Cabin noise is pretty intense. And from what we noticed on the drive back, you experience many different qualities of highway road and city road. So on newly paved roads, me and Vivian were both like, oh yes. Because on the older roads, the road noise was kind of unbearable. I mean, we either had to blast the music to be able to hear it, or if our ears just got too exhausted, we just had to just turn the music off. But would I take a lightweight two-door sports car that has a good power to weight ratio and happens to have like a little more road noise than I've been comfortable with in my other cars? Yes, I definitely would. So that's not a complaint for me, but that is the answer to your question, in my opinion. Are you going to put a wide body kit on the car? Probably one day, yeah. Next year after I get to Florida. But what I'm gonna wanna do is buy another one and keep that body stock, because I love this car so much that I wanna be able to have one pretty much in pristine condition so I can just have. And maybe I'll do like a drift build with one and like a drag build with the other. I don't know. Maybe that sounds silly, but I mean, guys, the YouTube channel's picking up slowly but surely, and I have so many things that I want to do. I haven't even scratched the surface on the type of content that I want to make for you guys, and for myself, because this is fun. We are back at What the Hill headquarters. I have many more questions to answer. So, do you like it more than the Civic Si? One of my favorite cars that I've owned, it was my first 9th gen Civic Si, so that was my black 2013 Civic Si that I actually started this channel with before my 10th gen Si, back when I had like, I don't know, 200 subscribers. Do I like this more? In some ways, yes, but in some ways I like the 9th gen more. I mean, they're very different cars again. Next question, is it better than you expected it to be? It actually is a little bit better, and I have a tendency to get my hopes up and set my expectations really high, which I did do for this car. And I'll tell you what, it has met all of my expectations and exceeded some. I mean, the straight line power, I was not expecting this car to pull like that. If you saw my last video where this car went up against an AP2 S2000, it was a good run. It was a very good run. And then I posted a standalone video versus a tuned 8th gen Civic Si with some bolt-ons, making 213 to the wheels, and the BRZ did very, very well. So if you haven't seen that video, you should probably check it out. Another question, what do you think of the new Halo? I really like Halo Infinite. I don't think anything will beat Halo 3, in my opinion, but what do I know? Great question from Lucas. After experiencing the car for a little while, anything you wish that you would change about the spec? No, not really. We got the limited one, so this is the higher trim level. I'm extremely happy with this. I love the color. The color is amazing. It looks really good since I gave it its first wax job today. Do you like it more than the Type R? No. I love the Type R with all my heart. The Type R is a phenomenal car. I don't know how you can beat that freaking beast, dude. Look at that thing. Yeah, I see you. King Accord 2.0 said, I sent one in the DM, but any car meet soon now that you're back in town. And since you said BRZ was going to be Viv's, does she have any of her own plans on what she wants to do to the car? Wrapping the car pink or something like that? That's funny. Vivian actually hates pink. Vivian isn't really a girly girl, and she'll be the first to tell you that. I think Vivian just wants to see me do the normal stuff that I do, except ramp it up a lot with this car. So it is going to get the HKS supercharger when that comes out in February. That's what HKS says. But before then, you know, we obviously have to do exhaust. I have to disable the adaptive sound control module, so I'll probably be the first person to do that on the 2022 BRZ. I don't think I've seen anyone do that yet. Bunch of other little things, right? That other guy, _21, said, is the first gen still worth getting? I never owned a first gen, so I don't really think I'm qualified to say. I think you'll find more valuable answers to that question from people that have owned first gen BRZs. TJ Hunt ordered a couple, so he'll probably give you his thoughts. Evan Shanks just got one, but I don't remember if he ever owned a first gen. And then you have Devin Amella, Chris Borges. If I'm not saying your last name right, Chris, please let me know in the comments if you're watching. But I did test drive a 2014 BRZ a couple years ago, actually right before I started my YouTube channel. And Vivian and I were not impressed. Is the bite point easy to find on the clutch? Yes, this car is super easy to drive. Although, I wanted to talk about this in another video. The clutch delay valve is very apparent with this car, and it makes going from first to second kind of a chore, like honestly. And this is my 7th manual car I've owned, so it's not like I don't know how to shift gears. I know how to shift gears. Owen17_H, are you going to take it drifting? Yes. LA Pink 93, did you notice a big difference when you got in the BRZ considering its rear-wheel drive? Well, I did just own a 1997 Mustang Cobra. And before that, another rear-wheel drive car I owned was a 2000 C5 Corvette, 6-speed manual, of course. So it's not like I'm totally new to rear-wheel drive. I mean, right when you get in the car, you're not going to notice anything. The only time you're going to start noticing is rear-wheel drive when you're taking turns, or if you're doing hard acceleration, either from a stop or, you know, from a low roll if your car has that much power. I haven't floored this thing in anything lower than second gear yet. I still have yet to floor it in first gear. I still have yet to do a dig, try like a 0-60 quarter mile. But overall experience, rear wheel drive versus front wheel drive, I like them both for certain things. Front wheel drive, like especially the Type R, I have more peace of mind because I'm not all that worried about the rear end kicking out. But with a rear wheel drive, if you don't have good tires and if you don't know what you're doing, like me, you got to be careful going around turns. So that is why I'm going to sign up as soon as possible to take lessons from a professional at either Sonoma Raceway or Thunderhill. Russo Drummer 1. Oh, this is from 5 days ago. What songs/bands you rocking out to on the trip? A mixture of a lot of stuff. Vivian and I are both into a lot of different things, but I have been on like an 80s hard rock, heavy metal, glam metal, if that's what you guys want to call it, that sort of thing. So. And also we listen to a few of my songs, but Vivian gets tired of that pretty quickly. Only have 2 more questions. So, how's the ride quality/suspension? Great for daily driving or a bit stiff? It's a bit stiff, but I like it. This is what the car is made for. So I'm not going to complain about something like that. And like I just showed you a couple times, just taking turns at like, I don't know what I was at, like 35, 40 miles an hour. This is going to be a lot of fun after I get it to a proper track. But compared to the SI/Type R, which was part of your question, the Civics are more comfortable. With this car having a lower center of gravity and weighing less, and having a super rigid chassis with this second generation, it's going to handle like a beast. it definitely feels a lot lighter than the Type R. And the Type R is only 3,100 pounds and some change. This is 28 and some change, so 300 pound difference, and you can definitely feel it. Last question. How do you like the engine and its power delivery? As far as NA 4-cylinders go, is it one of the best you've experienced, or is it just okay? Definitely one of the best I've experienced, for sure. If we're talking about NA 4-cylinders, my 9th gen, when that was almost full bolt-on and E-tuned by Josh Arandia, that felt great. And I love how even on the 9th gen, you know, with a downpipe and a tune, you can feel VTEC kick in. You can definitely hear it too. This one obviously doesn't have VTEC, but the power delivery is phenomenal. And it has great torque. And this is stock. So imagine what this is going to be like with bolt-ons and a tune, and then obviously with the supercharger. It's going to be kind of ridiculous. Holy crap. I just noticed. This thing only has 215s on it. No way. Guys, I thought this had like 225s or 235s on it. This thing has 215s? Okay. I think we are going to have to get some wider wheels and tires sooner rather than later. Let me know what else you guys want to see with this car. I do want to take this to a drag strip like I just said. I want to test out the 0 to 60, the quarter mile, try out a half-mile event if I could find one. So I know they have some half-mile events at airstrips down in like Central California, like the Bakersfield area sometimes. I'm really trying to find a half-mile event. If you guys know anything that's going on it could be in Nevada or California, please let me know. Send me a message on Instagram, comment down below. I want to take both of the cars to a half-mile event so badly. I love doing straight line stuff, and I know to some people it's boring. To some people they love seeing the straight line stuff. I think once I take lessons at Sonoma and Thunderhill and actually start to get decent at driving around a track, I think I'm probably going to end up liking that more. But for now, me being a noob, straight line stuff is so much freaking fun, dude. But I'm gonna end this here, guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you in a couple days. Peace out.